Welcome to Gaza Graduation. Let's see how much students actually know what they stand for. If you get them right, you win $100. First question, have you guys chanted from the river to the sea?
Yes.
Okay, which river, which sea?
The Sea of...
So you don't know the
No.
The answer was the Mediterranean and the Jordan. What does Hamas say their #1 goal is according to their charter?
They just wanted to free Palestine.
It's to murder all Jews around the world. How many years did Israel occupy Gaza?
Late 1800s, the entire time.
Since 48.
It was actually under Egyptian control for the first 20 or so years, and then Israel actually left Gaza in 2006.
I'm shocked.
Wait, they left?
What is the definition of Zionism?
Doesn't that mean you hate Palestinians, right?
Jewish people who think that Judaism is the highest race.
Zionism actually just means that you think Jews are entitled to having their own homeland to protect themselves from another Holocaust. You don't even have to be Jewish. That makes you a Zionist.
Okay.
What does Antifada revolution mean?
I don't know what that means.
But you've chanted it?
Yeah.
It's like a global call to murder Jews.
Wow. Wow.
Did you know you said that?
No.
Would you say it again?
Probably not.
How much have our foreign adversaries donated to American universities in the last decade?
No idea.
I couldn't give you a number on that.
The answer was over $6 billion. How many Gazan refugees have the Arab neighboring countries let in the last few months?
35,000.
The answer was 0.
Look, you asked an education major about
Students don't seem to know what they stand for. So wouldn't it be great if these expensive colleges actually taught them something?
Do you guys think Hamas is a terrorist organization?
They are a political organization. Certain countries such as Canada, the UK, the United States recognize them as terrorist organizations, but I think that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Queer rights, trans rights. We say no to genocide. Queer rights, trans rights. We say no to genocide.
This Queer for Palestine, you know, maybe I'm overstating some of this. Maybe they do like the gays over there in the Middle East, and maybe in Gaza and Lebanon where Hezbollah is, maybe they really do love gays. Here we have video of the head of Hezbollah talking about the gays, and well, I guess just judge for yourself.
شو بتقول دراسات؟ بتقول انه من يتورط باللواط ما بيقدر يطلع من اللواط. علق. طيب هون بهذا النوع من الجرائم التي تدمر العائلة والمجتمع عندنا أحكام حاسمة بالشريعة الإسلامية. لكن شوفوا الفرق، يعني هون واحد بيتوقف عند شيء. أن الزاني إذا زنى، الشاب الزاني أو الرجل أو المرأة إذا زنى، إذا لم يكن محصنا يجلد. أما إذا كان محصنا طبعا بحكم القاضي وإذا ثبت وكذا يقتل. أما في حالة اللواط فما في فرق بين عزابي ومتزوج. في حالة اللواط من المرة الأولى حتى لو كان عزابي يقتل.
For those of you that are not Arabic, if that's not your native tongue, you're going to kill the gays. That's what Hezbollah is going to do with the gays. And that goes for Hamas, and that goes for the rest of these guys. So, you know, I know you're fighting the Zionist oppression. You might want to think about what you're doing here, because as you usher it into America, which is what you people are doing right now, it is not going to end well for you.
There's nothing more hypocritical in this entire world than seeing the LGBTQ community coming out in support of Hamas, basically. I mean, you would think that this was a joke written by Saturday Night Live, but this is a real thing. And if they were to go to Palestine, they would literally be thrown off a roof. I mean, that's not hyperbole. That literally happened. So it's just kind of shocking, I guess you would say, that people have such strongholds in their identity politics that they can't even, you know, see the nuance of supporting an organization that literally wants to kill people.
Queer rights, trans rights.
We say no to genocide.
These are Queers for Palestine protesters. We've seen a lot of this in recent weeks. The great irony, that display might get those people killed in the Gaza Strip. What appears to be lost on these protesters is that gay and transgender people in Palestinian territories face an extraordinary level of persecution. In Gaza, homosexuality can be punished with years in prison. You also might be executed, including by members of your own family. A few years ago, Hamas, the terrorist organization that controls Gaza, tortured and killed one of its own members for allegedly having sex with another man. Not long ago in the West Bank, a young man's severed head was found on the side of the road after he was killed allegedly for the crime of being gay. So where do many of these persecuted people try to get asylum? In Israel. the same country these stateside protesters are speaking out against. The Israel-Palestine conflict is complicated. This aspect of it, not so much, because Queers for Palestine is about as convincing as Minks for fur coats.
And this is how gay people live in Palestine.
Gay people supporting Palestine if you get thrown off a building there. You wouldn't be thrown off a building. You get about 10 years in prison, but it could be moved up as far as the death penalty.
Thank you for watching. It's not free Palestine from Israel. It's free Palestine from the Hamas. Hamas equals ISIS.
Guys, my team, come on, link arms.
Running circle blockade around these three. We're gonna move them out. Let's go.
Another human chain. People united.
Get someone wrap around. Get inside.
Is someone recording this? Are you
I
recording
got
this?
it.
This is 100% assault. What is your name? What is your name?
All right, walk. Chill.
Can you wrap around?
One at a time.
Here's the Columbia protest leader, pronouns he, she, they, not saying he'd murder Zionists or anyone who believes in Israel's right to exist as the Jewish state.
Be grateful that I'm not just going out and murdering Zionists.
He, Kamani James, was subsequently banned from campus after making what sounded like veiled death threats against Jews.
I just got back from UC Berkeley. We all went in wearing keffiyehs. We were undercover. Inside, we found communist literature, pamphlets that called for the end of virtually every white Western country. They called for US businesses and Israeli embassies to be burned, sabotaged, and destroyed. They claimed that solidarity means attack, and also justified the October 7th terrorist attack on Israel. Hamas calls it Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. My cover gets blown. They surround me, they lock arms, they start pushing me.
Now I feel it. You can't without consent.
Okay, so you're pushing me. They're gonna go forward. You're gonna move into me.
Yeah, take steps forward slowly.
You guys are gonna push me down the stairs? Then I get a call from Bracha, who tells me that she just had a gun pulled on her.
Oh, that's okay.
What's up?
He says he's leaving now.
Why? What's going on?
There's a guy, he followed us with a gun down Telegraph. We're talking to the police right now, but he was coordinating with the camp and he literally pulled out a firearm right behind me, like 2 feet behind me.
In newsflash, they don't want peace. Graffiti inside the Berkeley encampment literally said, "F peace, burn it down." Those are the same people that don't shut up about the ceasefire. It's so interesting going to these encampments and seeing how these people behave. The anti-war protesters that are also simultaneously calling for violent revolution. Does that make any sense to you?
Do you feel like it was right to hold 3 of the janitor workers hostage within inside of the building?
I think that's a really false narrative.
That's what the janitors are saying, that they weren't allowed to leave.
I think that that's a really false narrative.
Even if the janitors are saying that, you're saying that that's not true.
I think that it's a really false narrative that the students took anyone hostage.
How do you feel about some of the Jewish students saying that they don't feel safe here on campus?
I think that this is also a really false narrative that's being promoted.
Do you think October 7th and the attack that happened is a false narrative? And anytime you bring that up, the Jewish cause, the Jewish people, the kids that feel unsafe on campus, they deny the reality of it, guys.
And Lawrence, you have the story exactly right. According to the Spectator, the newspaper there at Columbia, where you are, there were a number of facilities workers. They shouted at the protesters, "Let us go, let us go." They didn't let him go. And then one of them, when he got out, said, "They were holding me hostage." So you had the story right.
And Lawrence, you and I just interviewed before you went up to Columbia. We interviewed one of the students. She's Jewish. She told us directly this morning she is scared to go on campus. So that is not a false narrative.
We do need to stop the war. We do need to have real and lasting negotiations. But that requires Hamas to change, and it won't, so long as its ideology remains. That ideology, which is set out in the Hamas Covenant of 1988, its very own founding document. In just the second paragraph of the preamble, the Charter states Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it. That sounds like a pretty compelling threat to me, and one of the key challenges that Israel faces when dealing with Hamas. A clear reminder that Hamas wants to end Israel's existence. But it doesn't end there. Article 7 reads, "The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight the Jews and kill the Jews. When the Jews will hide behind stones and trees, the stones and trees will say, 'O Muslims, O Abdullah, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him.'" That's in the charter that members of Hamas subscribe to. Then there's Article 13. Now and then the call goes out for the convening of an international conference to look for ways of solving the Palestinian question. It adds, "There is no solution for the Palestinian question except through jihad." Article 15 is a call to arms. The day that enemies usurp part of Muslim land, jihad becomes the individual duty of every Muslim. In the face of the Jews' usurpation of Palestine, it is compulsory that the banner of jihad be raised. It is necessary to instill the spirit of jihad in the heart of the nation so that they would confront the enemies and join the ranks of the fighters. There are 36 such articles in the Covenant, which forms the basis of Hamas thinking.
Hamas is not a terrorist group. Hamas is not a terrorist group.
What is it, like a motorcycle club? Or?
It is a resistance. That's what they are. They are a resistance.
Do you think Canada is a colonialist country too?
Everything that they do is justified.
Including what happened last week?
Every single thing they have done is justified.
I support Hamas.
History is made that day. Very proud of my people. Very, very proud. Would love it if they would do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. No, they're not terrorists. I support every decision. And you know what? What they did was history. Very proud. History was made that day.
Nothing will ever be able to take back this moment. This moment of triumph, this moment of resistance, this moment of surprise, this moment of humiliation on behalf of the Zionist entity. Nothing, ever.
علوا عنا يا حماس! علوا عنا يا حماس! علوا عنا يا حماس! علوا عنا يا حماس! بالدم بالدولار! يا الدم بالدولار! علوا عنا! أنه قرار سلم خلاص معايا هبل. هذا اللي بيسويه هبل. قتل شعبه. السنوار قتل شعبه.
وين العدالة؟ هو هذا الحكم اللي بيحكمنا يا سنوار وهنية. ابن المسؤول اللي حنساوي بقى عمره 20 سنة وله سيارة وله جب وله عمارة ومتجوز وله كل ما يملك، وابن أولادنا لا يملكوا من الحياة شيء.
إذا حكيت لك إنه حماس دمغت غزة، شو بتقول لي؟
هذا شيء أكيد، شيء أكيد يعني. تمام، هذا صحيح سبب.
وبعدين بالنسبة للمقاومة اللي بتيجي بتخبى بين الناس، ليش بتخبى بين الناس؟ يروح في جهنم يتخبى. يعني هذه شهادات من
اللي دمروا البلد واللي ابو العبد انت اكبر عميل. يا هنيه ويا عباس، يا هنيه ويا عباس، وين الكهرب وين الغاز؟ وين الكهرب وين الغاز؟ احنا دفعنا ثمن تذكرة حماس، احنا دفعناها، احنا دفعنا التذكرة لها.
انا بدي اوجه رسالتي الى حكومة حماس، حسبي الله عليك، والله يلعنك ويلعن ابوك ويلعن اللي جابك، والله يلعنك يا سنوار يا ابن الكلب، حسبي الله عليك دمرتنا.
I'm not saying there aren't sincere passions about Gaza, especially among people from the region, but social justice warriors, for a lot of them it seems like it's more about the warrioring than about whatever the cause is. Are you really speaking truth to power, or do you just think you look cool in a keffiyeh? Which is really just the new Che Guevara t-shirt. Another historical figure you never researched and so think is a hero, but was actually a sadistic, racist monster fighting for communism, the worst form of government ever. But these are small matters. Small matters when activism merges with narcissism. Less about the cause and more about me. Look at me. Watch me. And if you like the way I'm fighting injustice, remember to like and subscribe.
These people are, I've said very often, they're part of the same phenomenon as turkeys for Christmas and chickens for KFC. I mean, I'm fed up with these fringe idiot cases. I mean, they're so mentally defective, these people, and incredibly narcissistic,
Maybe from now on, before anyone commits an act of civil disobedience, they should ask themselves a few questions, like, is the most important thing in my life something I hadn't heard of 6 months ago? Do I even know what the I'm talking about? Am I really here for the cause, or is the cause here to bring you me? Why do I care so much about this particular cause? North Korea starves its people. China puts them in concentration camps. Myanmar brutalizes the Rohingya. Boko Haram kidnaps whole villages of women. Nothing? Ukraine? Maybe if these Google employees had the slightest idea what kind of fundamentalist, oppressive they're supporting, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, they might take it a little easier on the world's greatest monster, Genocide Joe. Genocide, by the way, is when you want to wipe out an entire people. That's the stated goal of Hamas. That's what from the river to the sea means. Hamas would do that to Israel, but can't. Israel could do that to them, but doesn't.